Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Tonight is another edition of Dublin in Darkness, the Vampire Edition. We have Alexander Rothschild has sought out the primogen of Clan Nosferatu, Dr. Michael Brightman. They are meeting at a private room in Harpy Delano's restaurant. Mr. Delano, I think is how Evan pronounces it. Is a 5-star Michelin rated chef, and his personal restaurant has private rooms where the kindred of the society can meet. So, who's going to arrive first? Should it be me or you?
I will be extremely punctual, so I will be exactly on time. If you want to arrive before that, I understand, because well, after all.
Well, actually, he would be there early. So when you arrive, you will see a man wearing. He looks completely nondescript, like just you would not notice him in a crowd. He is wearing what looks like teacher's clothing with a white lab coat over it. Sitting on the table is a briefcase, a valise. Um, he is walking around the room looking at it strangely. Um, there's. Do you have Auspex up?
Yep.
Okay, you can tell he's wearing a mask, but I don't think you want to try to penetrate it right now.
At the moment, he's just recently got the Auspex level up to 2, so he can actually use that.
You can't penetrate it.
No, I know.
No, I mean
he wouldn't even try.
Yeah. No, what I mean is my obfuscate's 5.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't even try, even if it was 2, simply because he's just getting used to using this on a daily basis. So he's not really straining it or anything yet.
Okay.
Alexander, however, comes in. He is everything that the Doctor is not. He's a flamboyant-looking, top hat wearing, sunglass wielding individual. He's definitely attracting attention. He's not particularly unattractive either. He is wearing a $30 suit that is about, say, 20 years out of style, but still wearing it neat and collared up. He is clutching a briefcase and a folder as well against his chest as he enters, looking for the nondescript man. Noticing you, noticing that nobody else is in this area at this particular point, he walks towards you, and he bows because you are a primogen, so he bows deeply.
He'll kind of jump back at that and say, "Are you okay? Did you shut the door before you did that?"
He looks behind him. No, actually, he's listening. You can see that he's listening, but not to you. And then not yet. Doors closed.
Okay. You don't have to. I'm not the prince. You don't have to bow to me. I may have probably 4 times as much status as you are, but that's neither here nor there. Stand up. Don't be like that. Have a seat, please.
And trying not to look nervous or trying not to look uncomfortable, he is taking a seat. He's placing the files in front of him, and he just immediately starts talking. And he says, yes, the reason I asked for this meeting is that I wanted to inform you as the primogen that there's going to be a serious reconstruction in the city, specifically at this lot bought by the prince, and he's left me in charge to deal with that. And he, out of the briefcase he was holding, he takes out a large map, like an of the city, an area map, and he particularly points out where this area is going to be. And then he says, in order, because until now it wouldn't concern Nosferatu Primogen. And then he says, and because this is building, I'm also requiring at least 300 foot into the ground, which means I would theoretically touch Nosferatu property.
You're doing more than touching Nosferatu property at that point. You said the prince approved for this?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, I would never even be here.
Here's what you're going to do. You're going to talk to Mr. Hennessy about this.
Oh, Mr. Hennessy is informed, of course.
No, that's not what I mean. You're going to talk to Mr. Hennessy about this. And Mr. Hennessy and I are going to determine which members of my clan are going to do this for you.
That sounds great. Because you will be left in charge, obviously, of the security underground as far as it's concerned when it comes to tunnels. That will be made.
And then Mr. Hennessy will be determining what sort of payment we will receive for this.
You'll have to pick that up with the prince, obviously.
I was told this was your assignment, not his.
Oh, yes, of course, but he is in charge of whatever happening. I'm merely the designer.
Is there a way you can design it without going 300 feet into our property?
Yes, it will be less secure, and I don't want to put the prince's life into danger, would you?
Of course not. However, you have to understand that when somebody comes to us and expects us to be okay with something,
I want you to be informed. If you want to say it's not okay, I'll go back to the prince to say, my prince, the clan Nosferatu is not okay with the building plans that you have given me the assignment for, and then he will pick it up with you. However, because I want to be courteous, because I think that you have a right to know what's going on, especially if I'm going underground, I'm here informing you that this is at this moment going to happen, because my prince gave me the assignment to make the design, the new Elysium.
Well, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to Hennessy about this, because if our good Seneschal agrees to not charge you for our work, because if you were to be responsible,
you just claimed that you wanted to work. I didn't ask you if you wanted to do the work.
You don't understand. If you send people down there to work on this project and we're not there, we can't guarantee your people's safety.
Of course, I understand that.
So what I'm saying is that you would have paid those people to go down there to do this work.
Well, of course.
I am offering out of the goodness of Clan Nosferatu's heart, and for the security of the prince, for the safety of your people, to do this in your stead. Therefore, you not reimbursing us for this, it confuses me.
I'm not sure if you could want anything from a neonate. A reimbursement in sort of money? I have money. I can't give you any status.
It's not a matter of status. It's not a matter of money. It's a matter of what you are able to do for my clan. And that is something that Hennessy and I will discuss.
Ah, another assignment.
In a matter of speaking.
Right, the boons. I forgot about the boons. You want boons? I understand.
It's not what I want. It's what my clan wants. And right now our elder is the seneschal of the city. Therefore, I have to speak to him and I have to speak to the rest of them about what we're going to get out of this.
Makes sense. What you'll get out of it is a new Elysium.
You see, We had an Elysium. I'm
Heard.
guessing you're the guy that's supposed to become the new keeper, right?
Yeah, that's the idea.
If we had had a keeper, maybe what happened at the Elysium wouldn't have happened, and maybe I wouldn't have nightmares for a week. So you can
Maybe
understand that I'm less than magnanimous right now.
I'm sorry to hear you had nightmares for a week. I wasn't aware of all the things that happened in the previous Elysium. That's why I want to make this one more safe and more secure.
Are you
Obviously.
going to speak to Clan Tremere about warding the area?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to pay them for it?
I'm not sure yet. You are the first clan I spoke to because I think that you should be the first to be informed since we're going to work and dig. The wards will be happening later when the designs are finished.
You're going to want to have them involved in every step of this, just as my clan will be, for the same reasons.
Do you want them to be involved underground as well?
We can handle that with them. Consider it subcontracting.
Right. Fair enough. I suppose if you allow Tremere to be part of the construction underground at the very beginning level, sure. There will be several groups of contractors, obviously, and there will be heavy security, obviously.
Obviously.
Most plans will be secret. You'll get part of the plans every single time.
That should be acceptable. Just do what you can to stay out of our way.
I intend not to even to be there. I'm designing. That's what I do.
That's smart. He's going to push his glasses up on his face. Was that all?
Yep. That's pretty much it. That's why I wanted to talk to you.
Well, as someone who was once a keeper, let me wish you good luck.
Yes, I've heard it's a thankless job.
Son, you have no idea.
I probably
Then
don't.
again, you probably weren't a keeper in Washington, D.C. or New York. So, the things we do for the Ivory Tower. He will reach. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're speaking like a man of experience. Since I am lacking in experience when it comes to keeping, I'll keep in mind that you are a person that can be involved if wisdom is needed in order to do this job as correctly as possible.
The one thing I can share with you for free, because the Nosferatu's information is his life, of course. Sometimes. Do you have any sway over mortal influences?
Yes,
Considerable?
I have many. My family is in banking. Money is what I do, but I have sway over many different types of things. I can sway people in constructions, business. I can sway people in bureaucracy, money
Media?
lending. I have high society, not specific media, but I have to talk to the what was Toreador about filling the new museum, and of course media coverage, because we're gonna need some PR eventually when this is going to run, because it needs to look acceptable to humans.
You personally will want to get more influence in the media. Find a up and comer and do what you can to make his star shine, as the Toreadors say. The health department especially. You're going to want some influence there. The transportation industry, particularly the Department of Transportation, you're going to want some help there. And any little snippets of the police that isn't already owned by the prince. Try to work on that too. Because just being able to control money and control influence and control industries and control the red tape and how things run and flow, that's not enough. When I came here to help liberate this place from the Sabbat, which was something I was never able to do from my home of New York City, the first thing I did was influence the health industry and the bureaucratic industry. And my multiple degrees and multiple positions within the world assured me certain other positions that I comfortably hold. Just a little bit of free advice. Now, and he's going to reach down, he's going to pat something underneath the table. Let's go. And he's going to walk out. And you'll feel something, the presence of something leaving. And you're not sure what it is.
Something brushing against my leg, so to speak?
No, but it's putting off enough of a presence.
I have the, wait, I have to look that up. I can see ghosts.
It's not a ghost.
All right, well, then, if you can, by the way, if you can see ghosts, you will see he's accompanied by a very pretty woman.
Oh,
only if you can see.
You can see ghosts? Do you have Death Sight or just medium?
No, something else. What's it? Oh. I have to look it up. I can't find it right now.
If you can see ghosts, there is a man that looks like he's partially ripped in half that is following him. And he seems to be screaming at Michael, and Michael does not seem to notice.
Then what you will see is Alexander looking at the man who is screaming, looking at Michael, and then noticing that you either ignore him or don't see him. And then he looks at something you can't see, which is the woman. And he'll just like lift his shoulders and it's like, okay. And then as you are leaving and he's feeling a presence leaving as well, you can see him shiver a little bit, like he just saw something or felt something really bad. He tries to shake it off, and he lifts up the folder that he had with him, and he said, "Sir, before you forget, these are."
By the way, I tried to say that he would have his valise. He'll look at you and say, "Yes."
In this folder is already the basics of what I intend to have for the digging plans. These are the details that you might want to talk to Hennessy with and about.
I will. He'll take the folder, he'll open up his valise. You'll see it's filled with notes, notebooks, pens, pencils, erasers, all sorts of things. How good is your perception?
Pretty fucking awesome.
Okay, like 4 or 5?
Yep.
Okay.
I believe it's 4 or 5 indeed.
Okay.
Let me double check.
You will see something in there. It looks like a drawing. It looks like a drawing of a black space with eyes, just like eyes in blackness. And it looks like it's been crumpled up. And he will then put the folder into his valise, close it, and nod his head and continue on his way.
And Alexander is grabbing his own briefcase, turning his back towards the doctor as he's leaving, thinking about what just happened and the meeting has, and how quite intimidated he was, and relieved that it is over.
All right, and with that, we will end this little soiree. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. It's been another edition of Darkness and Dublin Vampire. Have yourself a pleasant evening, and remember, the darkness isn't empty. There are eyes everywhere.